Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Cover 2 podcast. As always, I'm host Lawson Turner, and let's dive into the Cincinnati Bengals. I was thinking about it 2 days ago, as that was the not trade, that was the deadline that the Bengals and T. Higgins could get a long-term deal done. Now they're going to have to get one done in next season's off-season. Now, what are my expectations for the Bengals? I think it all depends on Joe Burrow's health. We see, since they got T. Higgins, and the reason why I'm wrapping T. Higgins into not necessarily the Bengals' success, but T. Higgins is a big piece of the offense. Since 2020, that's you know that's when they got Joe Burrow. They've been, the first year in 2020 they go 4-11, and then they draft Jamar Chase. And since then, it's been lost in the Super Bowl, lost in the AFC Championship game, and then they go 9-8 this past year. But Burrow tears a ligament in his wrist in Week 11. Now, how does all this tie in with T. Higgins? We see T. Higgins in 2020, the year just before Jamar Chase. 67 catches, 908 yards, and 6 touchdowns. And then they draft Jamar Chase, and now he catches 74 in back-to-back years, being the 2021 and 2022 season, and goes over 1,000. And in the 2021 year, was just 9 yards short of 1,100 total yards receiving. Um, why is that important? I think it's important because if they let T. Higgins walk and they lose him for nothing, you're losing a T. Higgins would be a number one receiver on many teams in the NFL, teams like Carolina. Like, the fact I am more pro, if you cannot come to a long-term deal, reach out to them and say, okay, here, listen, we can't reach out to something, we can't agree to anything. Is there a place you want to go to where we can at least get something for you, somewhere that is, also willing to pay you? Because you don't think when Justin Jefferson got his deal, now T. Higgins isn't on the level of Justin Jefferson, but he's like, okay, JJ got 35. Do I think I could get 30? I've been, one of the most underrated receivers in the NFL. Like, is he your big name Jamar Chase on your team? No, he's not. But he's still a very good complementary piece when it comes to what the Cincinnati Bengals do. We know they are a passing team, and you don't necessarily need, two number ones, but it doesn't hurt in which, you're in a very tough division, you're in the tougher conference, that your road to go back to the Super Bowl is going to be tougher when it comes to, can Joe Burrow go toe to toe with Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs? Yes, but he also needs weapons to do that. And it's not that if T. Higgins walks, they won't have the weapons, because Jamar Chase is still fantastic. They have a good offensive coach, and if Joe Burrow can stay healthy, I still think that they're going to be, one of the top contenders when it comes to teams to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. However, if they lose T. Higgins, I think that not only their passing attack is going to suffer, I think Joe Burrow is going to suffer just a little bit. Like, is Joe Burrow accurate? Yes. Is he dependent on the talent around him? I don't think so. I think that he's just been in a fantastic situation where, you know, you come to a team that's bad, and you, like, when they drafted Joe Burrow, I was like, okay, he's going to be about as good as, Zach Taylor's going to be, and can they, support him? And you see him have a major injury in year one, and I'm thinking, okay, go draft, your tackle to keep him upright. And they draft Jamar Chase, and I was team draft Penei Sewell. You get your franchise quarterback, you cover his backside, and then, you go on from there. They draft Jamar Chase, and it immediately goes into, oh, they're a 10-7 win team. They win the AFC North, and then they go all the way to the Super Bowl. And then the year after, they're right there in the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs, who they beat the year before. And so when it comes down to my expectations, I think that they'll be a solid team. I think they'll be a double-digit win team, but it's hard to continuously win double-digit games. Like, Joe Burrow got hurt in Week 11, and they were still 9-8. And double digits will get you, contending for your division and contending for a postseason appearance when it comes to teams in the AFC. If this team was in the NFC, oh, they'd be one of the favorites, not counting like your Niners or however high you value the Cowboys, but the Bengals would be right there. They're just in the tougher conference in one of, if not the toughest divisions in the entire NFL, and their success is linked to a quarterback who has shown when playing he's fantastic. You can make an argument he's the second best quarterback to Patrick Mahomes. But that's the thing. When are you available? Out of the 4 years he's played, two major injuries. And in the other 2 years in which he was healthy, deep playoff runs. And that's what the Bengals expect. Because now, Joe Burrow, you're making, you have the highest salary cap hit at $55 million for a quarterback. So now you can't pay T. Higgins. Well, let me not say the word can't. They can, but to have all that lumped up in, you know, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase is gonna want to get paid. There's not there's not enough, there's not enough pie to go around. That's what I'm trying to get at. There's not enough pie to go in to put into, your top two receivers and then invest in your offensive line and, pay Joe Burrow and to, continue to build because the offense isn't the problem as long as they can keep the band together. It's not. And they have a decent pass rush with Trey Hendrickson, which I think he's a very underrated pass rusher in the NFL. But to get back to this question right here before I ramble too much, what are my expectations? They'll be a good 10-11 win team, and they'll be right there when it comes to are they going to win the AFC North? I think them. Ball. I'm discrediting the Browns because the Browns are the Browns. Uh, but yeah, I think they'll be a good team. They'll be 10-11 wins, and in a later video, I'll go through their schedule and give my thoughts and opinions on their entire schedule. But that's all I have for this video. As always, let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions when it comes to what your expectations are for the Cincinnati Bengals. Do you think they're a playoff team? And do you think Joe Burrow stays healthy the entire year? As always, thank you so much for watching for the Cover 2 podcast. I'm Lawson Turner, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.